Previously on Yu-Gi-Oh Arc 5!
Nothing happened.
Your turn, your tricks, now what will you choose?
What's up, my dueltainers? Welcome back to another banger video. Be sure to smash that comment button and leave a subscribe for more hype shitting on this anime made for children. At least that's what I would say. But see, there's kind of a problem with the last part of Arc 5. Not much really happens. Not like it's boring, there's nothing going on like the last arc. This part, there's a lot of dueling, and remember, that means a lot of explaining of card effects, things I'm not going to do. It's also really drawn out, with a lot of extra duels that didn't need to exist. Time that could have been used to develop certain characters that we're going to see, but you can say that about a lot of characters in Arc 5. You might be thinking to yourself, come on, Brian, it can't be that bad, right? There must be a reason they have all these extra duels in there, right? It's gotta add something. No. In fact, to show how badly paced this last arc is, it begins with a clip show. That's right, episode 100, the beginning to the season, is a recap of the last season, where Yuya, Silvio, and Gong got separated from Shay, wandering around the remains of Neo Heartland City and running the Duel Academy soldiers. Yeah, despite already conquering this place, there's still some wandering around. And awkwardly, while they duel, the protags tell these Duel Academy students about their adventures in 5D's land, which I summed up already. I remember it like it was yesterday. Nothing happened. So yeah, if the season premiere is a clip show, that's not off to a good start, which sets a perfect tone for the rest of the season because, kind of like this one, a lot of the duels this season are going to have a lot of flashbacks. Yeah, they reuse animation like a motherfucker this time. I probably see more of the old duels from past episodes than I do the new duels in this season. But again, not much happens in them, so it's not really that big a deal, I guess. In fact, this whole stint into the Xyz dimension is kind of a waste of time, so let's get through it fast. As the boys beat Duel Academy and send them running, Silvio tries to Pegasusy them, which not cool, bro. But unfortunately, someone else did it for them when they hear some screams. And well, remember when I told you it's not just old 5D's characters returning.
Looks like this is my lucky day. I love it when the prey comes to me.
Ah yes, Kite, I remember him, a skilled duelist and master of the Galaxy Eyes Dragon. But now he finds himself in front of these losers and challenges them, saying they'll get carded too. Surprising everyone though, Yuya knows Kite's name without him saying it. That's because of Yuto. Because Yuya can now basically talk to Yuto's soul at any time, kind of like Yugi and the Pharaoh did back in the original Yu-Gi-Oh! The explanation for this is that their mind melded more, I guess, after that weird shit with the U's and 5D's land. Also, it's Yuto's home dimension. Sure, whatever. Anyway, the standards try to explain they're not his enemies, but Kite says Duel Academy have tried many tricks and he believes you're dueling, not your words. So Silvio takes up the challenge to Yuya and Gong's annoyance, but Gong joins in the duel to make sure Silvio doesn't blow it and they can talk to Kite. This Kite is not much different from the other one, so he's not going to talk it out, and thanks to his Galaxy Eyes Cypher Dragons, he easily beats Gong and Silvio, and now it's Yuya's turn. Yeah, unfortunately, almost every character introduced in Season 1 has been demoted to woman status, either being Yamcha's on the sideline, or like with what we have today, being beaten to show some other character's power level. So, like Tien. This series really tries to make Kite look like the most epic uber-ist best duelist ever, because he's able to predict and play around anything Yuya does, because he says he figured his tactics out by dueling Gong and Silvio, because they all come from the same place. I don't know how that's even possible. The only thing Silvio did remotely similar to Yuya is Pendulum Summon, but whatever, Kite's a badass, live with it. Eventually, Yuya is able to convince Kite they're allies, both from summoning Yuto's dragon, and Shay showing up with two other jobbers, telling him these pendulum dorks are cool, especially his friend Yuya Sakaki, who saved him many times, he says. When the fuck did that happen, Shay? Selena saved you from Sora, Gong broke you out of solitary, you escaped with the other Lancers from the trash pile. You and Yuya have actually barely interacted since leaving the standard dimension. What the fuck are you talking about? Oh, it's just an excuse to make it seem more natural that Shay would say his full name, so Kite can react when he hears Sakaki, so it's just lazy writing, got it. A girl with Shay also asks Kite to come back to them, which he refuses, and then Ninja vanishes. The two jobbers with Shay are Alan and Saya. They will not matter ever. Them along with Shay and Kite, technically, are the last remaining members of the Resistance. And they ask, hey Yuya, why do you have our friend Yuto's dragon card and also look exactly like him? And Yuto's smart, telling Yuya, maybe, yeah, don't go around telling my friends I died and went inside of you and you talk to my soul now. Kinda like how Jaden talked to Yubel and Banner as spirits in Season 4 of GX. Good times. Shay vouches for him though, saying he's a trustworthy friend that he can always rely on. Seriously, have the two of you ever had an actual conversation? They also explain why Kite is so angsty. It's because Duel Academy got all of his family back during the invasion, and this made him snap, turning him into the ball of dueling anger we see. And no, it's not Hart or Faker or their mom that we never saw. We never actually see his family in this. In fact, we don't see any other characters from Zexel. Yeah, Kite's it, which, I mean, is arguably the best character, so I'm not complaining, but we couldn't squeeze in Anna at all? Dextra? Like, okay. Anyway, Yu-Gi-Oh is sad about Kite dueling for anger and junk, saying he should save him with his duel-taining, like Jack and his dad taught him. That's when Saya confirms Yu-Gi-Oh's last name is Sakaki. He wonders why she's asking, and that's because they've met Yusho Sakaki. Yep, he was here in the Xyz dimension 3 years ago when he disappeared from Standard, and while he was here, he taught them all about duel-taining. But Alan don't like Dad Sakaki, saying just like 3 years ago when Duel Academy invaded, he left suddenly. Man, dads in Yu-Gi-Oh just can't leave a message or something when they go out for the milk. Sword can't be that far. And then, sigh, I'm sad to report, we cut to plot device number 1. That's right, number 1. We're gonna meet some brand new plot devices this season. I guess that's something to look forward to. And she's not having great luck as she was transported to the Fusion Dimension on an island where she sees a bunch of prospective students sailing the Duel Academy Island. Everyone notices PD number 1 because she's still wearing her scrubs from the trash pile, and this is weird to everyone because in this world, all teenagers are supposed to be shipped off to Duel Academy. So some truant officers chase her when a woman in a hood spots her. PD number 1 comes to a dead end and can't be sent to Duel Academy because, you know, so she's about to duel for her life. Until we see Kite ain't the only Yu-Gi-Oh alumni this season.
Stop! Just leave this to me. You're safe now.
Oh my god, this Alexis is bigger. Her eyes. No, I mean her boobs. Oh no, wait, I had it right the first time. Now, I do think Alexis is a great choice. The only returning female character, by the way. I am sad we don't see more GX characters. We don't get to chazz it up this season and get great moments like when he beat his brother with weak cards. But this moment is pretty cool for Alexis's return. She's still using her Cyber Angels, mixing Ritual and Fusion, and takes out all 3 of the truant officers. See that, PD? That's what a good female character acts like. Actually doing something. You should try it. Whip her into shape, Alexis. Tell about that time you beat a Shadow Rider possessing Titan, or maybe he was, I'm still unsure, and saved your brother. After the duel, Alexis introduces herself and takes PD number 1 to her place on a gondola. Yeah, I guess the Fusion Dimension is Italy. Alexis takes her to an underground bunker, saying it's where all the runaways from Duel Academy come for refuge. But that's not important, as PD number 1 is surprised at the name of this place and who's in charge.
Welcome to our duel school, the Yugioh Duel School.
Yugioh Duel School?
And here's our dean.
What? Mr. Sakaki?
Yep, Yusho's been in Fusion this whole time. PD number 1 is naturally shocked and asks what the hell, and he explains he was in the Xyz dimension when Fusion attacked, and was sent here after encountering a certain student. We then come back to the Xyz dimension where a cloaked figure is walking along the ruined city, holding a ripped Smile World card. Told you a while ago was important. We then see Yu-Gi-Oh just out wandering around looking for his dad, I guess, when he asks why Yuto never told him his dad was here, and he says he didn't know, he learned all that from Lulu, apparently she was a student of Yusho. That's when they run into the cloaked figure who asks why they are here. Yu-Gi-Oh says he's looking for his dad, Yusho Sakaki, and the cloaked man does not react well to that name. But he says this is great, if he's really his son then he can use Yu-Gi-Oh to draw out Yusho. It's gonna be so hard to see all these U names this season, god. And the duel begins with Yu-Gi-Oh defending himself. However, this guy seems to be from Duel Academy, and after returning to his home and seeing it's worse than when he left, Yuto, unlike Yu-Gi-Oh, does not want to use smiles and fun, instead pain and death, and is able to fully control Yu-Gi-Oh's body for a period of the duel, using a rank up card. Great, now Yu-Gi-Oh has one. But this cloaked guy is good and manages to tie the duel, as the cloak comes off, dramatically revealing who this person is. Well, it's a reveal if you haven't watched GX, cause Cloaked Man uses Destiny heroes, and there's only one pro duelist we know that uses those.
Who was he?
Aster Phoenix, leader of Duel Academy's Invasion Squadron.
And that is the last returning Yu-Gi-Oh character. And you start to see the theme, right? We got Aster, Jack, and Kite. It's the rivals of the pro tags. Then for some reason, Crow and Alexis, which again, only one waifu, who was in charge of the gender ratio. Like, come on. And once again, no OG characters. Seriously, Granddad was not available? I don't believe that. Remember when he just showed up in GX for a couple episodes during that little Domino City arc? He's available. After the duel, Yu-Gi-Oh is back in his body, seeing Aster is gone, and he decides to find him to see what he knows about his dad. But really, the episode where he says that is about Shay dueling Kite to get him to stop his revenge crusade, and I do not care. Shay goes on about how he also dueled with anger and met the Lancers and they changed him. Again, how, Shay, you spent most of the Friendship Cup arc alone. You were alone in the underground dueling arena, put in solitary, then put trapped in a room during the actual tournament. You've interacted with these people for hours at most. Did the writers forget that? Anyway, Yu-Gi-Oh shows up to this and to help Kite trust them, he tells them all Yuto's soul is in him, and proves it by having Yuto talk about the memories they all had together before the Duel Academy Nation attacked. And I guess that's good enough for all of them. Kite doesn't care though and beats Shay and is about to Pegasusy him, cause you know he's too far gone or whatever, but stops, disappearing again, telling them to stop coming after him. Oh, also, Saya has guilt cause she was there when Lulu got taken by Yuri and did nothing. She admits that here, which I do unfortunately have to mention, even though I don't give a shit about her. More importantly, back with Dad in PD number 1, Dad finally explains why he hasn't come back with the milk yet. If you remember, 3 years ago, Declan accidentally went to the fusion dimension, met Selena, and found out about his dad's plans to be the Führer. And literally that time when Leo sent him back, Declan immediately became president of Leo Corporation and began developing the Lancer project, and he wanted only one person to lead it. Yusho Sakaki, not just for his dueling abilities, but because him and Leo jointly developed the arc system and action duels. So if anyone's on equal terms with Leo, it's gonna be Yusho. Oh man, we're gonna have a dilf fight. Yusho agrees to this, but not really, as he doesn't plan to fight Leo, but talk to him, resolve it peacefully like he does. So he uses an experimental dimensional transporter Declan's working on to get back to fusion, but instead it sends Yusho to the Xyz dimension, a one-way trip. And yes, this was the day he was supposed to duel Sledgenold. He legit thought he would only be gone for a short conversation with Leo. But he's Mr. Brightside, so he figures since he's stuck here, he'll teach the Xyz people about duel-tating, including Kite, Saya, Alan, and Lulu. Then the Duel Academy Nation attacked, and he stops there because of his injuries. So Alexis tells PD number 1 her story, that she was left out of the invasion of the Xyz dimension. Everyone was told this was all to build some grand utopia, and when her friend came back, she tells them about all the Pegasusying. And like Selena, Alexis copes at first, saying, well, they were duelists, they got Pegasusied with honor, as if that justifies it. But no, Frenchon says, they even got normies. So her and Frenchon leave the island, but get caught by the truant officers, turning Frenchon into a card, but Alexis gets saved by Yusho, who just appears. And that's when they met, and he said he was injured by Aster Phoenix, who was the commander-in-chief of the first invasion of the Xyz dimension. And since they met, Yusho along with Alexis have been carrying various runaways from Duel Academy, teaching them all about duel-tating, hoping to recover so we can go confront Leo. That's all cool and fun when a girl comes in telling the heroines, well, one heroine, one plot device, a Duel Academy student has cornered their comrades. Not just any student, Yuri, who duels 5 runaway students who all use GX archetypes, like Roids, Ojama, Koalas, BW, YX, Z cannons. Well, at least Yuri's chazzing it up, beating all 5 of them easily, and Pegasusy's them. That's when my wife and PD number 1 show up, and Yuri is happy she came here from Synchro and is about to duel them, but luckily her bracelet shines, teleporting him away, cause Yugo is also here. Teleported here when her bracelet went off back in Synchro Dimension. He's happy to see PD number 1, cause last he saw, Sergei sent her into a building, and he's sticking around cause he knows Rin is here, and she also tells him Selena was captured too. That's when we cut to Leo saying he got a report pendulum summoners were spotted in Xyz dimension, and sends 2 hot-ass twins to deal with them. God, I wish that were me. The only time I've ever wished I was a pendulum summoner. Anyway, back in Xyz, Saya is suddenly all guilty about Lulu getting taken and runs away, cause she's sad, so everyone goes to look for her. Alan finds her, but before he does, those hot-ass twins, named the Tyler sisters, find them. The blonde is Gloria, and the silver-haired one is Grace. And I simp for them hard. Gloria is a more serious, kinda tsundere, hot, and Grace is a happier, more honest, enthusiastic girl, and they use Amazon as cards like Mai did. Their designs are great. I love everything about them.
Oh my. Do my eyes spy a Lancer, Grace? We just arrived and we've already hit the jackpot.
Yeah. Before we make our way to headquarters, what do you say we bring a welcoming present along with us? In the form of a gift card.
Too bad they're barely in the show, only in the next like 7 episodes, and then are barely in those. God, I hate this show. Anyway, the twins think Saya and Alan are the Lancers they were told about, and challenge them. And Saya, feeling guilt from abandoning Lulu, seriously, it's this girl's only character trait, accepts the duel, with Alan dueling with her in a tag duel, cause he likes her, I guess. Wait, why do these fairy cards Saya use seem familiar? Where have I seen them before? Alan uses...
I summon Express Train Trolley Ollie.
Fuck you! He's a gender-bent, worse Anna Kaboom? Fuck you! Just make it Anna, and I guess because of the fairies, Saya's supposed to be Tori? I mean, she used them, I guess. Why not just make it those characters? You're already bringing back other ones. It wouldn't make Kite the only Zexel one, and we'd have more girls, because it's kind of a sausage fest with the ones you picked. And again, this just shows my point too. Why do we even have returning characters if you're going to invent new characters that just serve the same purpose the other characters would? You see, they're kind of mixing and matching. They seem to not know what they want to do. I go on a bigger rant, but I really don't care about these two. The Tyler sisters win. Good, they are the better characters. That's when Gong and Silvio show up. And these guys suck so much now that they lose off screen. That's how much of women they are now. Luckily, characters who can do something show up. Yuya and Shay, who have a tag duel against the Tyler sisters. And seeing Yuya as the pendulum user they were looking for, we see the Tylers have special anti-pendulum meta decks to deal with the Lancers. Oh yeah, the Tylers are supposed to be these like super elite duelists who never lose and only come for special occasions. Cool. So Yuya beats them in one turn when they have over 10,000 life points. Yeah, I see they're real pros. And sadly, that's the last duel the Tylers have. But Grace mentioned she thought Yuya's duel-taining was kinda cool. It's really not, Grace. That's when some Obelisk Force members show up, and Yuya and Shay have to duel them, but Saya, continuing to really try to get me to hate her more and more, I almost called her plot device number 2, almost eats shit, and Shay saves her, injuring him. This character is designed to be useless. So now Yuya has to duel the Obelisk alone. Luckily, Kite shows up and saves them. He doesn't even card the Obelisk, seems he's coming around to everyone's duel-taining words. That's when Aster shows up, determined to beat Yuya, trapping him in a cage with a duel anchor? You have that dumb shit from Zexel too? Yuto tries to take over again, but the worst part of this finale happens. Yuya is actually a good character in this arc. Why is that bad, you ask? Cause I said the finale, and it's during the end, Yuya actually becomes the character I wanted him to be the whole time. Where no matter what anyone says, tells him, or tries to shove their own morals and code on him, he sticks to his own beliefs that dueling is for fun and to entertain, not to destroy, and to do it his way. Yep, no more getting depressed because of some bullshit, and he sits around for years only for some older guy to tell him what to do. He finally has his own style and convictions that he sticks to. Took long enough. A little too long, because we barely see it. You'll see what I mean. Grace thinks Yuya's pretty great this season too, cheering for her, to Gloria's annoyance, and in that interaction they showed more personality and character dynamics than any other woman in the show. But unfortunately, Aster's Weasley's second in command, I'm not naming him, he doesn't matter, is attacking Yuya's friends with Obelisk members. But Yuya tries to end the duel fast, and once again asks Aster what his beef with his dad is, especially when he sees he has a torn Smile World card. And Aster explains that when he invaded, he heard of a man spreading bullshit that playing children's card games should be for fun and not for war. What is this blasphemy? So he challenged Yugioh and did injure him in the duel, but using Smile World, Yugioh turned the duel around, beating Aster, and offered him the card and to see dueling his way, but Aster refused to believe his whole life is a lie and tears the card. And that's when Yugioh randomly teleported to Fusion. Somehow they don't really explain that well. Aster only just looked away and saw he was gone, so he stayed in Exes, determined to beat Yugioh and prove the professor's teachings were right. But Yuya is gonna protagonist all over him, and summons a new dragon, beating Aster using his duel-taining. Seeing everyone lost, Aster's Weasley's second in command sends more goons after everyone. However, Aster calls them off, saying he realized he wanted to confront Yugioh again because he knew he was right. Duel-taining is the way, and realizes that thanks to Yuya. And like with Synchro, we get another forced happy ending. At least this one was short. As Aster just gets all of the Duel Academy soldiers that were bred for war to give up right away. Right there. It was that easy. Just say no to war, kids. And next we see they're helping refugees in a soup kitchen trying to right their wrongs. Again, very fast turnaround time on these endings, just cause Yuya uses a broken summoning mechanic. Hell, it's so contrived, even the characters think so, like shitty not Anna over here.
This is too good to be true. It's all crazy. Think about it. Yesterday they're hounding us and today they're helping us? The whole thing seems a bit too easy.
But hey, even Kite's feeling the flow now, saying he doesn't want revenge for his family anymore. He's just over it. Then Aster says, oh right, the card thing, you know you guys can reverse that, right? Another very important thing just casually dropped in the conversation. Well, he doesn't guarantee it, but says they have a system that turns people into cards, so it makes sense Duel Academy would have one to turn them back. And he does have a transporter to Fusion they can use. So the Lancers, minus Shay, who's still recovering, are now accompanied by Kite to go save his family. They all head to the Fusion Dimension to go end this and save all their friends. Also, yes, besides a cameo later, this is the last we see of the Tyler sisters. So to recap, we had a hot MILF who was here for one season, then a hot announcer who was here for the worst season so no one watched it. Then we have two hot twins with more personality in their little fingers than any other character, and they were only here for like 5 episodes. Back in Fusion after Yuri's attack, Yusho realizes Leo is stepping it up and might need to be stopped, but his students don't want him to go. They might not have a choice though, as Leo sent another Duel Academy student to deal with these escapees, one we haven't seen in a while.
To speak to the professor, you must meet him first. And the only way to meet him is through me.
Dennis!
Hi there, Zuzu. Long time no see.
Yep, Dennis is back, and not only does he know Yusho, he was one of the people he taught back in Xyz. Because like in Standard, Dennis was sent there to spy before the invasion, mainly to find Lulu, and while undercover, there he saw Yusho perform and wanted to learn duel-taining. But Yusho says as he is now, Dennis can't be a great duel-tainer, and angered by this, the two duel, but not really. Yusho uses this as a distraction so him and all the kids can escape. PD number 1 leaves with Yu-Gi-Oh, and when they're cornered, her bracelet glows, teleporting Yu-Gi-Oh away, because yep, Yu-Gi-Oh is here, and Dennis sends out someone to deal with them. Iggy Arlo? What? Yeah, Dennis went back to Standard and recruited Iggy to use him against Yu-Gi-Oh, I guess? Or just to have him? I don't know. And Dennis leaves to go chase Yusho, and Kite follows him, while Gong, Silvio, and PD number 1 duel the Slifer Slackers, and Yu-Gi-Oh duels Iggy. He has this, like, evil card now he uses because he really wants to beat Yu-Gi-Oh. Who cares? I will say, the duel is actually pretty awesome. Once again, Yu-Gi-Oh actually does his job of duel-taining. Even I, dare say, was entertained with his cards and how they added this element of chance to the duel. It was kind of fun to watch. Even the citizens and academy students start watching the duel. And after beating Iggy, even he's like, yeah, you're right, Yu-Gi-Oh. I need to chill the fuck out. Okay, cool. Thanks for showing up again, Iggy. Your check's in the mail. After the duel, PD number 1 drags Yu-Gi-Oh with her, telling him his dad is here. But they see he already left on a boat with Alexis to Duel Academy to confront Leo. But also on board is Dennis. But also on board is Kite, who wants info from Dennis on where his family and Lulu are. He also tells Yusho about how Yu-Gi-Oh converted Aster to the Church of Duel-Taining, something even he couldn't do. Don't worry, Yusho, I also think it's pretty contrived. So Kite and Dennis duel. Kite says jibber-jabber like he's Mr. T.
Enough jibber-jabber!
Hey, remember Mr. T and the time he tried to teach those slackers to not do drugs? Good times. During the duel, Yusho tells Dennis why he can't be a great duel-tainer, because he's more concerned with flash and making himself look good. When it's about making the crowd smile, he's too vain. So Kite's able to win. Then, weirdly, despite Yusho trying to help him, Dennis is all depressed and tells Kite that Rin and Lulu are in towers on Duel Academy Island. Rin is in the east and Lulu is in the west. Alexa's recognizing Rin's name because Yu-Gi-Oh can't shut up about her. And yes, the two girls who were kidnapped are literally trapped in high towers, like princesses or something. Do I even need to make a joke about that? It makes fun of itself. Then in a scene that's kind of dark when you think about it, Dennis commits. He turns his duel disc on himself, turning him into a card, saying it's too late for him. I mean, we all agree that's kind of fucked up in the context of this world, right? Like, that's like him killing himself. Awesome. Well, hopefully nothing stupid happens in the next 5 minutes to ruin this serious moment of a character killing themselves. Completely unrelated, Yuya's gang back at the pier are looking for a boat, but can't find one. That's when plot device number 2 shows up. She's not Selena anymore, because she's all happy now and talking about friendship. Yeah, that's our Selena. And says she escaped from Duel Academy and went to find the Lancers because she knows where Lulu and Rin are. Even has a boat for them. A pirate ship. With an actual pirate. That's drawn like this. Okay. That's when a Duel Academy helicopter arrives and the pirates tie up the boys, seeing plot device number 2 help them kidnap Yep. Yuya found her again. And she got kidnapped. Again. Mokuba is laughing at this bitch for how many times she's been kidnapped. Fucking Mokuba. So now Yuya has to duel the pirate guy. Truly this will be the stuff of legend, so I'm gonna skip it. Luckily the boys are saved by the other Lancers. Declan, Sora, Riley, Moonshadow, and Crow. Yeah, he's joined the Lancers too. Whoopee. I don't really remember the reason they're here. Who cares?
How did you track us down?
Who cares?
They all beat the pirate and head to Duel Academy to save everyone and stop Leo. And then once again at the end of the episode, Sora drops some important info really casually.
I heard this crazy rumor that there's someone working for the professor who can take total control of other people's minds.
That's right. Leo has a guy. A woman guy. Kind of like the Baryons and their Baryon rank up shits. Remember that? First to arrive at Duel Academy Island are Yusho, Alexis, and Kite. Kite goes to the West Tower to save Lulu, and Yu-Gi-Oh arrives in front of Yusho and Alexis. Apparently PD number 1's bracelet put him here. So Alexis tells him about Rin, and he immediately heads to the East Tower. Then, because we need a duelist episode, it cuts between Kite and Yu-Gi-Oh dueling the Guardians of the Towers. Okay, whatever. They win, and Kite is able to save Lulu, and Yu-Gi-Oh is able to save Rin. Or should I say, plot devices number 3 and number 4, cause PD number 4 pushes Yu-Gi-Oh off the tower, and we see a really creepy guy watching. Also, Kite got pushed off too, but is saved by Shay, who woke up and was told by Aster everything, especially about where his sister is. But Kite tries to tell Shay something's wrong with PD number 3, but he won't listen now that he's so close. Back with Yu-Gi-Oh, he lands on his duel runner, so he's fine falling on this big metal contraption. And seeing that PD number 4 doesn't care about the runner they made together, or him, he realizes something is wrong and duels her to jog her memory. We then see what is wrong with her. A fusion parasite was put in her brain and controlling her, same with PDs number 2 and 3. And for some reason they decided to make the guy who mind controls these middle school girls to look creepy as fuck. And I'm not gonna lie, this kind of made me uncomfortable. Like, you have this weird old creepy guy brainwashing children. This ain't a hentai, bro. I don't want to see this shit in Yu-Gi-Oh! At least make the mind controller hot, like Merrick or something. Or make him funny like a Rog, not someone who should be put on a government watch list. Anyway, despite his efforts, Yu-Gi-Oh loses as PD number 4 leaves him in the rubble of his duel runner. And is later found by Aster, who also came to help, who's now traveling with Yu-Gi-Oh to find PD number 4 inside the academy. Back with the Lancers, Yu-Gi-Oh tells them all his dad is here, and Declan coincidentally decides to reveal at this time that he found a file from his father called Revival 0, and didn't care about it until years later when he met Yu-Gi-Oh and PD number 1, because in the file were pictures of Yuri and PD number 2, and all the U's and the plot devices are involved somehow as they all arrive at Duel Academy. Finally, all the warriors are here. And Leo knows and only cares that Yuya is here and orders a faculty member, Sanders, to bring Yuya to him. So they all get ambushed. Declan, Riley, and Sora go on, while Yuya gongs Silvio, Moonshadow, and Crow with his duel runner. Why do you bring that to a school? Where are you gonna ride that? Hold off the Slifer slackers. But they get lured into a trap, and Sanders is a bit of a sportsman, putting the 5 of them in a mock jungle and says it's a 5v5 duel, all of them versus his soldiers, to also help educate his students. It's like a lame version of Predator with cardboard. Cause they also learn that it's not just the 10 of them in there. Sanders' soldiers are taken out mysteriously by something in the jungle, along with Moonshadow, who gets Pegasusied. Back with Shay and Kite, turns out Shay isn't just being stubborn. Aster also told him about the creepy brainwashing asshole, and figured his sister would be womaned. So Kite leaves to find this guy while Shay duels PD number 3. And actually does manage to get through to her somewhat, thanks to a fairy card that useless bitch gave Kite, who then gave it to Shay, whatever. Creepy asshole says the parasites won't die just from losing one duel as Leo watches from a screen. I guess this is his kink. Cutting back to the jungle, Silvio and Crow encounter some of the obelisks and are about to duel, but then hear an intrusion penalty from somewhere showing they're not alone. And I'm going to skip this part. Essentially, it's this student nicknamed the Battle Beast that Sanders molded into the perfect dueling weapon. I don't think this duel is that interesting, and it does not matter for anything happening in the story at all, so fuck it. It's just another Yuya sees the students want pain and war and crap and teaches them, and he beats them, to have fun. They've seen it. The important stuff is Crow gets turned into a card after saving Silvio, and Jack shows up, having been coerced by the orphan jobbers to go help because Crow left. Well, he's a little late. There is a cool moment for Gong, who, if you remember, doesn't use action cards, but to help Yuya and make sure he can move on, he actually uses them. That'd be a cool moment if he didn't get his ass kicked a million times before this, including this duel. Anyway, Yuya manages to win, and the students realize Sanders is full of shit. But one of them takes Yuya further in, the others stay behind to recover. But the creepy asshole who's too close to PD number 2 says it's all according to Keikaku. Cut to Declan's group, they manage to run into Yusho and Alexis. But the reunion is cut short because Yuri arrives. To make sure Yusho can get to Leo, Alexis traps herself with Yuri to face him along with Sora, while Declan, Yusho, and Riley head to Leo. Now remember when Alexis showed up and had a cool intro and did some badass stuff? Well, that's gone. She's gonna get woman here hard. Because Yuri doesn't just beat her, she beats her with a structure deck, a completely sealed deck given to certain students. But he's actually fucking with her at the same time, cause really he added good cards like Super Poly. Yeah, he sees her as so little of a threat, he messes with her on different levels. This is meant to show how good Yuri is and what a threat he is, but considering it was against Alexis and this is Yu-Gi-Oh, I get different implications. So Alexis gets Pegasusied and now Sora has to face Yuri. But we cut to Yuya, who is actually lured into a trap to the area the creepy asshole has been making his parasites. And PD number 3 shows up, and Yuya and Yuto not knowing what's happening, Yuto knows PD number 3 isn't acting right, and they duel her, together, literally, cause through bonds or some shit I guess, Yuto mixes in some of his cards with Yuya's deck. That's when Shay shows up, telling them about Creepy Asshole and the womaning. And Creepy Asshole doesn't like that, so he also sends PD number 2 to duel Yuya, even managing to get a parasite into Yuya's brain. But unfortunately, Yuya has a penis, and is unaffected by the parasite somehow. Some weird darkness takes it out. Kingdom Hearts, I don't know. Angered by this, Creepy Asshole shows he's already womaned the original plot device. Okay, Ill, could you move him away from her? I may not like her as a character, but I still don't like this guy near any woman, honestly, underaged or otherwise. Now, taunting Yuya proves to be a bad move, because this causes him to lose it again, and destroys PD number 2 and 3, winning the duel, but wondering why that time, out of all the others, the anger was so intense, felt so real. The plot devices escape though, and Yuya chases them, leaving an injured Shay behind, and Yuya meets Creepy Asshole and gets captured. Nice job, protagonist. Sora is also having a bad time, getting his ass kicked by Yuri, and he's about to get carded himself, when Aster and Yugo show up. And then we also see that Declan and Yusho have made it to Leo's room, and Yuya sees them from a screen in the room he's trapped in. Okay. Leo isn't surprised to see Declan and Yusho, but is not aware of who Riley is. Yusho tries to convince Leo to give his dimension conquering up, reminding them of the time they invented real solid vision and action duels together. But Leo says that's impossible, because he finally reveals why he's doing all this. Okay. Buckle up, kids. This is probably the weirdest backstory to not just a villain, but an entire universe since, well, the last Yu-Gi-Oh series. So Leo explains he didn't invent the Arc system. It came from a world that doesn't exist. A long time ago, the 4 dimensions were actually one complete one. Solid vision already existed, but it was like shitty AI made really stiff and unlifelike. So Leo Akiba, who lived in this original world, wanted to make it more realistic, so he decided to implement his new tech with the hottest game in the world, Duel Monsters. And he did it, able to make realistic dueling monsters, from dragons to VTuber idols. But it was almost too real, as he detected actual vital signs from them, and they reacted to outside stimuli despite still being holograms technically. But like any good scientist, he said, who cares, I did it, party! Give me all the praise and money, I made children's card games real, bitch. But Leo didn't account that making monsters real could be used for evil. Enter a certain duelist, who at first was like any other one-of-the-mill sweaty LGS gamer. But he kept on winning, more and more, he just never stopped. And apparently he did this because he could speak to his monsters, at least that's what the rumors say. Then one time, after going into a duel, this duelist injures his opponent accidentally, and the crowd love it. More violence and blood. And Duelist was more than happy to give them what they want. Almost too happy. And his brutal dueling style made him the best duelist in the world. And what was the name of this man?
Zark. What's a Zark?
Yes, Zark. A name that strikes fear in many. Did a writer watch the original Yu-Gi-Oh, the Toei one, heard Zork, and was like, nah, that's a stupid name. Zark, though, now that's badass. Zark wanted more power and mastered every summoning method, fusion, Xyz, and synchro. But got too good and too strong, and now nobody wanted to duel him, but the crowd kept wanting violence and destruction, so Zark decided to send it to them personally. If no one will challenge him, he'll challenge the whole world, destroying everything, finding someone he can duel. A girl near Leo says she senses that these dragons are filled with all kinds of emotions, and that's when Leo realizes his tech didn't make realistic holograms, but real-life monsters, and these dragons helped corrupt Zark, wanting nothing more than to destroy. Totally unrelated, I'm sure, Yugo and Yuri summon their dragons, which causes them and Yuya, hearing the story, to start getting all sicko mode again. While Aster, who left Yugo, finds Kite and Shay telling them Yuya is in trouble and they go to help. Back in the original Dimension flashback, Zark says this world sucks and decided to challenge the universe instead, and using a card, Astrograph Sorcerer, he fuses himself with his dragons. It's Yu-Gi-Oh, sure whatever, Merrick did it with Ra in his duel with Yugi. In the present, Kite and Aster find Yuya, who like in Synchro is starting to talk about reuniting as one again, and so are Yuri and Yugo. As Leo tells them Zark became Supreme King Zark, they just mashed Zork and the Supreme King from GX. That makes both of those things worse somehow. Before Leo can continue, he's alerted Yuya has escaped from his cage somehow. And he shows up here, finally meeting his dad after all these years. Yuya demands Leo free the plot devices, but Leo says they and him shouldn't even exist in the first place, as they all rise up trapped in some tubes. That's when Creepy Asshole shows up, asking if he can beat Yuya, because he resisted his parasite and he wants to experiment on him to perfect it. And Leo knows those words too well, because he said them when he made Solid Vision, and by extension Zark. So he cards creepy asshole. Should call the police instead, but it works. This causes the plot devices to all wake from being womaned, but they're still captured, so are they really? And Leo finally explains why he wanted them so bad. Cause to stop Zark, Leo in the past realized the power needed was in nature, the power of the elements. Of course, the only thing that can beat a dank TCG player, touching grass. So he infused Mother Nature's bosom into 4 children's playing cards, but they get stolen by his daughter, Ray, who knew using them would kill the user, I guess, and she wants Leo to stay and help rebuild society. So she goes to use the cards, and when she does, 4 bracelets appear on her, and just like that, Leo is in the middle of a park, everything's fine, like nothing even happened. But one difference is no one had any extra decks, all vanilla monsters, and it was back to basic old school Yu-Gi-Oh holograms. And another thing is at the time, Leo had no memory of the original dimension, but almost like muscle memory, he once again made real Solid Vision, and that's when he met Yugioh. PD number 3 asks a good question, I guess she has a brain, so how'd you remember all that shit? And I guess he just felt like analyzing his memories, so he got to watch that flashback like an episode of Arc 5, and he remembered everything, and realized if he's still alive, maybe his daughter Ray is too. And that's when he realized that there are 4 different dimensions that were all split from the OG, but also that Ray was split into 4 different versions, being the plot devices. Because Leo, when searching everywhere, came across the fusion dimension, and found PD number 2, and realized it wasn't her, but a piece of her, when he saw that she had one of those bracelets that appeared on Ray. So he remembered World War II and was like, psh, bet I can do that and win. And they don't really explain how he did it, but I guess from there, he made or took over Duel Academy with the goal to find the other split Rays and turn people into cards to put the dimensions back together, and by extension Ray. And Declan asks the obvious, how does Pegasusing people glue dimensions back together? And Leo reveals that green machine we saw before, and if you haven't figured out what it's called yet, well, remember that Yu-Gi-Oh likes to work its subtitle into the show?
This is my newest invention to reunite the dimensions! The Arc 5 Reactor!
Arc 5 Reactor?
Which is probably the weirdest way to work in the subtitle. I mean, I still don't know what the fuck Zexel is, but I guess that was kind of the point. Why is it called the Arc 5 Reactor? Is it because including the original, there's 5 dimensions? Would an Arc 4 make more sense? Whatever, it's the title of the show, you had to work it in somehow. Leo said he needed the cards of people because reuniting the dimensions takes a lot of energy. And it's Yu-Gi-Oh! There's no greater power, well besides friendship, than souls, or as he says, life force. So he'll use it to glue the dimensions back together and send the plot devices in there too, making them an array again. And he calls this plan Revival Zero, the plan Declan found years ago. So why didn't you just call it like the Zero Reactor or something? And Declan realizes that explains the plot devices, but why was Yuri in that file? And why are there 4 versions of the U's? And Leo realizes, since Declan is his son, sort of, he also figured it out, that while Ray was split up into parts, so was Zark, into 4 pieces. And yep, Yuya is the version of Zark from Standard, and tells his son to join him and take out Yuya so Zark can't resurrect. But Declan, actually being a real one, says he believes in Yuya because he's seen him use his dual-taining to bring smiles and make scenarios more contrived than that backstory. And while Leo has used fear and war to get what he wants, he will stand with Yuya who's used smiles and happiness. And Declan and Yuya are ready to end this, challenging Leo Akiba to a duel. That was a lot of exposition. It was literally 2 entire episodes of exposition. And granted, after Zexel, I'm glad they explained things here. And again, because of Zexel, that whole story, while kind of crazy, still makes sense to me. And you know what? I like the twist that Yuya, the protagonist, is actually the super big bad guy of the series. I love stories that do that kind of twist. And while I don't like most of this show, they were good at building up and foreshadowing this revelation. It's not some twist that comes out of nowhere. And also that Zark is this super violent duelist that only wants to destroy, perfectly contrasting Yuya's dueling for fun and Smile's upbringing, tying it in with the actual thesis of the show. Yeah, I'm fine with all of this. The problem is you might think we're building up to the finale, like, oh, there can be a couple episodes left. There's 20. There are 20 episodes left. But don't worry, we're definitely building up to a finale. All 4 of them. Yeah, Zexel had 3 final bosses, Arc 5 said, fuck you, watch me do that and more. So the 2 sons duel Leo, and we see Leo isn't some scrub, he's something of a duelist himself, even having his own pendulum cards, knowing he'd need them to beat Zark. Yugioh watching this knows Leo has to be making this up. I mean, it's his son, Yuya. That pussy, an evil god hellbent on destroying all life? Pfft, He didn't even have an extra deck when he left him. Then Yusho has a flashback to talking with Skip when Yu-Gi-Oh and PD number 1 were toddlers, and Yusho is shocked that Skip can't really remember her mom and where and when she was born. And Yusho thinks that's crazy. How can you have no memory of the day your child is born, the happiest time of your life? So Yusho remembers when Yu-Gi-Oh was born, like it was yesterday. Like it was yesterday. Like it was yesterday. Oh shit. And worse, the reactor is starting up, and Leo is about to put the plot devices in the oven, and this gets Yuya to lose control again, as yep, his arc's trying to come out, as Leo keeps trying to prove he's the real enemy. But again, I'll say it, I like something in Arc 5, that the other characters don't give up on Yuya so easily. Riley, Declan, and the plot devices are all still believing in him, that he can beat the Zarkening. However, belief doesn't mean much to Zark, who almost fully takes hold, so Yusho restrains Yuya and uses some... So Yusho restrains Yuya to use it... God, this is so hard to say. So Yusho restrains Yuya by using some technological prototype trap card thing to haunt the duel forcefully. What is... There's like a sentence like this every fucking video, man. All these U names is so hard. Because Yusho, after thinking, says he does believe Zark is taking over Yuya, but he knows something can stop it. Plot device. That's right, Yusho also read the script, and says since they're all already split up and put in a dimension with a U, they must have the ability to somehow calm the Zarkening. Which not said, but explains why the bracelets would teleport a U away when another showed up. It was trying to keep them apart so Zark couldn't reform. And honestly, I'm not sure what happens after that. Yusho says take Riley and go find a way to free the PDs, Declan, so he can go help Yuya. And he says he's gonna go do something else. And Leo just lets them go and try to interrupt his plans. I mean, he took a hit from Zark earlier, but it's not like he's unconscious or anything. We see he's fine as he continues his plans. Then the next episode, it just cuts to Yusho meeting up with Aster and Kite in the halls. Like, seriously, what happened? It feels like we missed an entire scene. I mean, maybe they had to cut some stuff because of all the different endings they wanted to do, because that was finale number 1. Now on to finale number 2. Yusho tells Aster and Kite about Zark, and after they're done laughing at that name, well, that's what I wish they did, Aster remembers, oh, the other Yus are dueling right now. Shit. So they leave Yusho and try to stop Yuri and Yu-Gi-Oh. Meanwhile, Riley's purpose in this series is finally revealed, because due to his weirdo powers they never explain, Ray is able to communicate to him, and he says it's useless to stop all of this because Zark will resurrect, so let her be revived by the reactor, because only she can stop Zark. Riley tells Declan this message, but he's determined to stop Daddy, so Riley tries to prove it with card games and the brothers duel. Back with the Yus and the rivals, Aster is able to free Yu-Gi-Oh after using some lame Destiny hero, but Yuri has the better dragon, I guess, and beats him, absorbing Yu-Gi-Oh, getting his dragon. Yusho arrived during all that, and Yuri, using his new powers, knocks him through a wall into the area where Declan and Riley are, where he just beat Riley. Also, this is still the throne room, so Yuya is also there, still pinned down. So how did Yusho not get injured from that, but he got injured when he got knocked into a wall by Aster? This one he got knocked through a wall? Shouldn't he be like half dead? Well, finally determined to do something, Yusho duels Yuri to end this. And Leo speeds up his plans, seeing the Yus together, and starts putting the plot devices in the oven. Maybe when they're done, they'll be a real character. Now I gotta admit, this duel between Yusho and Yuri is pretty good. They do a good job of having Yusho live up to the hype of being the best duel-tainer. Cause he duels like a performance, talking to the audience, using a lot of cards that seem like chance but are actually ways of him to manipulate his opponent and their cards, also showing he's a good duelist. Even able to tell what cards Yuri is using just by his strategy and how he says certain things, like a real card game player is. It's fun to watch.
I needed you to have one face down on your field instead of the 2 you originally had.
So then everything you did, all the moves you made were just to get me to use my trap card?
Correct. I paid close attention to the things you said. They may have just been passing comments to you, but to me they told quite the story. Magician's right hand to destroy your key card. But you didn't seem concerned at all. As if you knew that my spell can't destroy your key card. Would have changed my Sky Magician into a dark monster, revealing even more about your strategy. Why would you need my monster to be a dark attribute? Why, because Yuri, you were setting the stage for something big, a grand fusion summoning. Your key card is... Super Polymerization!
Hell, it's so fun, it's actually helping Yuya seeing his dad perform. It's able to help him suppress the Zark. Too bad for Dad, Yuri is technically a protagonist, I guess, and has something better than super polymerization, ultra polymerization. Whoa, I guess Zark is the real Supreme King after all, having a worse fusion card. Sorry Jaden, I don't make the rules. Also, thanks to absorbing Yu-Gi-Oh, Yuri can also Synchro Summon now, and using all these new powers, Yuri literally combos Dad to death, Pegasusing him, which gets Yuya to snap, and is in full Zark mode as he and Yuri begin a duel. And both of them during the duel go full sicko mode, because unlike Yuya, Yuri is more than happy to become Zark and destroy everything. But thanks to words from Declan and seeing his dad's Smile World card, Yuya is able to suppress the Zarkening somewhat. But it might be too late as Leo's Arc Reactor has reached full mass and Revival Zero begins. You might have been wondering this whole time, if Leo puts the dimensions back together, won't Zark be reborn too? Well, he thought of that, and traps the Yus and Declan, Riley, Aster, and Sora who showed up in an isolation dome that I guess will leave whoever's in it out of the merging of dimensions and trapped in this weird pocket zone. And things are getting worse for Yuya as he struggles trying to keep Zark at bay, and Yuri has not just his but managed to get Yugo and Yuto's dragons on his field. And to survive, Yuya had to sacrifice his dad's Smile World card. And you know, I kind of felt for Yuya during this time. Mans is struggling. Because his whole life he was taught to entertain and never be violent. And yeah, I'd be having a bad day too if I was told I'm a piece of an omnipotent god hellbent on destroying everything in the universe with children's playing cards.
But I had no choice!
Yuya, what's wrong?
Until now I had my dad's Smile World with me. But in order to survive, I had to destroy it! I destroyed my own dad!
But again, I like the others won't abandon Yuya. They still believe in him and know he can beat Yuri and Zark. It's just, man, there's something here. There's bright spots of good writing here. But then you realize we're in finale number 2. Because thanks to friendship, Yuya does get all the dragons on his side, having the upper hand against Yuri, who's in full Joker mode. I guess that's the only way I can describe it. But all the mugging to the camera can't stop protagonist, and Yuya wins. And of course, Yuya is not going to absorb Yuri, so the gang decided that they need to stop the reactor. Let's get going, Yuya. Yuya?
I won!
Just like you wanted! And from now on, there isn't any more
Dual team.
duel-tating. Only winning! Astrograph Sorcerer, Master of Time and Space! I call on you to use your mystical powers to reshape us into a single unstoppable force!
Those are the other dimensions.
Look there!
I'm no expert on multidimensional theory, but I think it's safe to say this is a big uh-oh. That was finale number 2. Now we're in finale number 3, the worst one. Cause it's 5 episodes that are exactly the same. 2 of Yuya's friends see he's Zark, so they duel him to try to free him and reach Yuya. They don't, and lose badly. Then the next 2 go. It's that, for the first 4 episodes, it's boring, so I'm skipping all of it. Only things you need to know is Leo's Dimension Fusionizer obviously failed, he needed more power. All the dimensions are getting in this weird pocket space that I guess Zark made. It's just so some tertiary characters we don't care about anymore can cameo, like the Yugioh School. Haven't seen them in a while, I guess. Guys, is Yoko okay? You protected that body from all this interdimensional shit, right? Last thing I guess is Zark himself. And his voice. It's a picture, the big bad of the show, you know? The ultimate embodiment of destruction. A man with godlike powers whose only goal is to turn all of creation into a wasteland. An omnipotent being with powers beyond the comprehension of mortal man. And he sounds like Gollum smoked too many cigarettes.
There is no Yuya. He's gone forever. And now there is only I, Zark!
I get what they're going for. It's like a twisted, almost beast-like way of speaking, but it sounds like a guy trying to audition for the voice of Donald Duck and failing. Okay, so I assume he's doing it so we can all stop hearing that voice. Leo still has the nature cards he made and grabs them to end Zark again. This is during all the friends getting KO'd, which, okay, let me tell you my fan theory, what I thought was going to happen. So I thought the person who would save Yuya and beat Zark was gonna be Silvio. I'm dead-ass serious. I haven't talked about him at all because he hasn't done much, but Silvio is really entertaining. This pompous asshole who kinda sucks but always acts like he's hot shit. You kinda grow to love him, he's harmless, you know? And they have shown on several occasions, mainly in the Synchro Dimension, other people find him entertaining too, sometimes more than Yuya. When there's a crowd, he wants to put on a good show, mainly for attention, and he does a good job at it. Not to mention he lost to Yuya every time they faced off, and he kinda went through an arc. I didn't mention it because it does not matter, but after Crow got Pegasusied, he felt really guilty and useless about it because it happened because Crow saved him, and he was really trying to prove himself and honor Crow. So again, I thought it was all leading up to him dueling Zark and not really winning, but managing to reach out to Yuya's duel-taining by actually making Zark have fun in the duel, which is, you know, the whole point of the show. And I think it would have been a good cap on the series. This guy who started off jealous of Yuya and his pendulum's always messing with him actually saves him and proves he's just as, if not more of a duel-tainer than him. Maybe he uses the nature cards and sacrifices himself, showing some selflessness too. That would have been cool and would have been tied into the whole Yu-Gi-Oh theme overall of friendship, right?
When the universe needs saving, you can depend on Silvio to save the day, month, and year!
Okay, I'm now worried we are going to lose.
Yeah, where's Yuya when you need him?
None of that happens, because Crow comes back randomly. Seriously, they barely explain it. He's just back. And him and Silvio are just other jobbers who lose to the monster who sounds like he's got a dick in his mouth. Great. Is that better than my theory? If you say yes, go fuck yourself. No, the real person who will save us all is Riley. Because remember, they have unexplained powers. And those unexplained powers let him unexplainably communicate with Ray. And I'm not exactly sure, but I think the implication is like Ray is possessing Riley, or she's just a spirit in his body. I don't know. If I haven't explained it yet, they don't explain it. Well, it's just in time as Declan is dueling Zark, trying to appeal to Yuya, talking about how he created pendulum summoning. When Zark reveals he actually made pendulum summoning. When Yuya needed it most, he made a new summoning method, one that would be better than all the other summoning methods. This one's got blackjack and hookers. Declan's about to bite it when Riley comes out, and despite building this up for 5 episodes, Zark loses really easily, as Riley using the nature cards and Ray are able to reach out to Yuya.
I'm not Riley. It's me, Ray!
Okay, so I was confused here, but this is a reveal. Riley is a girl, apparently. At least that's what I read on the wiki. That literally changes nothing about their character, so I don't get why this is even a thing. Their gender means nothing, who cares? And Yuya comes back and realizes, oh shit, I'm the devil. But luckily using magic or some such bullshit, Riley hits the reset button. I do the time bit like the other final bosses, but we finally made it, guys. It's been a long road, but here we are. The 4th and final finale of Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5. It's the second worst one. We cut to Yuya in the standard dimension, waking up to Yoko! She's back! Oh, thank God. I'm glad she survived. I don't really give a shit about anyone else. We can just end it right there. But no, we can't. As Yuya goes outside, seeing that everything is just peachy, at the Yusho school, they all duel with their pendulums. Like normal. Because yep, everyone pendulum summons. It's been around since forever. Come on, where's yours? Yeah, no one seems to remember about the Zarkening or plot device. Except Declan, who exposits Riley rebuilt the standard dimension into the pendulum dimension, and there's still work to be done. Why does Declan specifically remember of all people? So he invites Yuya to the Arc League Championships, where he has a 4-way duel between him, Gong, Moonshadow, and Silvio. Where during the duel, Moonshadow uses some ninja methods of targeting Yuya to get him to remember. And he does, remembering he was kinda sorta almost was definitely going to destroy the multiverse, and he kinda also sorta remembers plot device. As does everyone else at the same time, and let me tell you, I burst out laughing when they showed Yuya's memories of plot device, because they're all of times of her getting kidnapped. Even Yuya only remembers her as being useless. That's amazing. 10 out of 10. But who cares about that, because the real problem is Zark. He's still around, technically, as reverting dimensions somehow turned Riley into a baby, and she, I guess, had to seal Zark in their own body. Also, since she holds Zark, she is unable to feel any happiness. She can't smile. Henrietta is really worried about her poor daughter. Tragic, yeah. I remember how much they care for Riley. I remember when her and Declan talked about using her for their own goals and calling her a he, not even knowing her gender. Yep, I totally believe she's acting like this worried mother because she's been like this the entire time. It feels so natural. Yep, I totally believe it. This is me believing it. I don't think you're believing that I'm believing it. Anyways, I bet you can guess where this is going. That's right, the final mission, the final boss, technically, isn't some big bad. It's to get Riley to smile, and that will somehow purge Zark? I don't know, he smiled a lot when killing everyone. I think Zark knows how to have fun, guys. It just involves genocide. Like, we all got our thing. And even though Yuya wins the Arc League shits, Declan says, nah son, you're still a scrub. And I don't want to sugarcoat it, but you gotta learn to duel-tane. So he, well, I don't know how else to describe it. Declan makes video game portals to take Yuya to the next level, where he's gonna duel someone from the other dimensions we've seen to max out his duel-taning stat. Sorry, his duel-taning stat, so he can make Riley smile. Yep, the finale to this show doesn't come after beating Leo Akiba, the guy who started an entire multi-dimensional war, or after beating the literal god, hellbent on destroying all life. It's making a baby smile. Which, yes, is the theme of this show, but it's so underwhelming after the other 3 finales. Not to mention, I just don't care at this point. I was way more interested in seeing Yu-Gi-Oh overcome Zark with sheer force of will and happiness, but instead he got bailed out in more ways than one. Cause yes, he's the only piece of Zark to survive, cause Riley showed favoritism, I guess, when remaking the universe. And I think him beating Zark himself with his own way of doing things would have been more impactful to me. Instead, we have DLC of Yu-Gi-Oh going around dueling past characters in duels that aren't that interesting, because who cares if he loses as long as he learns his lesson or whatever. So yeah, I'm going to gloss through this. First is Yu-Gi-Oh in the Xyz dimension, who has to duel Dennis. Yep, everyone who was carded is now back, and Yu-Gi-Oh beats him, as Dennis, to further his own duel-taining, stays behind in Xyz to teach the kids about having fun. As Yu-Gi-Oh heads to the fusion, oh wait, this is Tyler Sisters, no, go back! Oh, god damn it. They showed up again for 5 seconds. Where's Yoko? Yu-Gi-Oh then goes to the fusion dimension, where Yu-Gi-Oh sees Sora is here, and he immediately grabs him and takes him to Shay and Alexis. She's trying to stop Shay from basically killing Leo Akiba, cause, you know, he still kinda destroyed his dimension and technically killed his sister, cause after all this, PD number 3 did not come back, and Shay's not that happy, you know, his sister was erased from existence. They confront Leo, who's kinda depressed as he tells Shay it's too late. In this new world, the plot devices don't exist, and he has no motivation himself, cause now he can't bring Ray back. Cool, so we're gonna, like, arrest this guy, right? Or imprison him, or take him back to standard like Declan wanted, because, you know, he did kind of commit genocide on a mass level, invading dimensions. Is anyone gonna detain him? Put him on a trial? We're just gonna not address the things he done. He's just gonna get away with it. It's gonna be a happy ending. He's just gonna go back to being a family man with Declan and Henrietta, isn't he? Fucking hate this show. Shay, of course, is pissed about this, not that, about his sister, and decides to turn his anger on Yu-Gi-Oh and duels him. Okay, well at least this is good. This is good character stuff, right? Yu-Gi-Oh having to face the consequences of being Zark, by having to face his friend, who lost his sister, his whole reason for everything he did up until this point. He did some bad stuff, carding people too, right? But no, not really, because this is all a ruse. Shay is actually perfectly fine that his sister is not real anymore. He wanted to help Yu-Gi-Oh by dueling him. Fuck that. You took what could have been a great character moment for both of them and just said no. Yeah, you know, I'm trying to wrap this up fast because it's a joke, you know? I'm like, oh, this thing sucks so much, I don't want to talk about it. They're just trying to wrap it up for no good reason. Man, if only we had like 20 episodes or something, we could have fleshed this all out. If only. So the last duelist is Jack, of course, as the 2 turbo duel across dimensions. That's also broadcast to everyone again. No excuse to see random jobbers from past seasons. Also, Melissa is back. Well, at least all the mommies are here. This duel, Yu-Gi-Oh does learn something, that all the Yus are still with him, able to speak with him like Yuto could. And for some reason, Yuri, the super, has a huge murder boner, likes to torture and fuck with people. Yuri is all nice now, saying, yeah, I'll help you out, no problem, who cares? I don't have a body anymore or anything, but it's not like I care. I got your back, bro. It's the Vector shit all over again. Let the crazy asshole stay a crazy asshole. It's their only trait. Let him have something. Anyway, Yu-Gi-Oh beats Jack, but him and Declan still say Yu-Gi-Oh is a bitch-ass motherfucker and can't make Riley smile. Because during the duel, he was hesitant to use his dragons because of the Zarkening, and that's when the Yus talk to him. Declan says there's no time to waste, so Yu-Gi-Oh must have one final challenge. Him. Yep, Yu-Gi-Oh must beat Declan to make Riley smile. If he doesn't, Zark will reawaken. No, we had another stake for no reason that Yu-Gi-Oh has to give up his dream of becoming a pro duel-tainer. Why is the threat of Zark reawakening and destroying the entire multiverse not enough motivation for you? Why do we have to add this extra stipulation? Honestly, Yu-Gi-Oh, it's not worth it. Just give it up. There are better children's card games out there. Pokemon's easier, or so they say. But no, Yu-Gi-Oh accepts, because this is the final duel of the show. Yep, it's Yu-Gi-Oh versus Declan. It's not that interesting. It's the worst final duel I've ever seen in a Yu-Gi-Oh series. Did they try to do that thing that all the other Yu-Gi-Oh shows do by showing how much Protag has grown? This time, Yu-Gi-Oh, like Declan, has mastered all the summoning mechanics. And he goes crazy with it, fusing, syncing, exeasing, all kinds of combinations with the Pendulum Dragon. That's when Yu-Gi-Oh realizes why Declan had him duel across dimensions. Get this. You'll never guess. You'll never guess it. I swear to God, you'll never guess it. It's something very new, so innovative, we've never seen it before. Yu-Gi-Oh realizes he forgot to duel for fun because the other duels he had were so life and death focused. Fuck you. First off, yes, we're doing this again. Jaden had to learn this lesson from Yugi, Yuma had to learn this lesson from Astral, and now Yu-Gi-Oh from Declan, I guess. Which I don't believe. Yeah, the Zark stuff sucked, but every duel until then, Yu-Gi-Oh dueled to entertain. He's already learned this lesson multiple times. It's like the only lesson he's ever learned. Cause you know, it's the fucking thesis of the show. We didn't need 7 extra episodes on the end to teach him this lesson again. God, fuck this show, dude. So finally, fucking finally, we are free. As the series ends with Yuya not only beating Declan for the first time, but managed to duel I don't care anymore, so well that Riley smiles. And yep, that's all it took, just beating Declan in a duel. Zark's dead, game over, best ending. Yuya gets to be a pro duelist now, the dimensions remain separate but connected, I guess. And then, to really punch me in the dick specifically, this also, somehow, gets plot device number 1 to come back. Yep, just her. Not the other 3, or Ray, or any of the other Yus, just her. Fuck all the other people who do them, like Shay, he doesn't care. He's happy his sister's clone gets to live and not her. Look at him, he loves it. He's yucking it up. Play the final scene, please, so I can stop talking about this show.
Now, my son, your journey is only just beginning.
Whoa, Dad!
Are you ready to take your duel-taining to the next level, son?
You sure did teach me a lot, Dad, but you didn't teach me everything. It's time to swing into action!
I mean, look, man, I'm running out of ways to say, wow, what a piece of shit. Why was the ending so dragged out? It should have ended 20 episodes ago. And the one we got was so happy and tried to wrap up everything so neatly that it ended up screwing over certain characters in the process and being boring. That was the worst. Yeah, that's Arc 5. I did not like this show. If I wasn't doing this retrospective, I would have stopped halfway through the Friendship Cup. And after watching the rest of it, I would have been right. The Xyz Dimension, besides the Tylers, was useless. And I guess they had a quota of episodes for the show or something, so they couldn't have it come to a natural conclusion. So it got dragged out with multiple visual novel endings and useless duels, like the pirate ship and the Battle Beast thing. Remember that? Me either. It's so weird too, because of all the foreshadowing in the first season, they clearly had an idea of what was happening. Honestly, it's the one Yu-Gi-Oh show where I can say that definitively. They planned it out. They even explained shit at the end. I understand how this world or worlds worked. I don't really have questions about that. But somewhere along the way, they just massively fucked it up. Pacing was either fast as shit or slow as ass. The duels were more concerned with explaining cards and reusing animation by showing flashbacks. The characters were either completely useless and forgotten after a while or just plain sucked. And the actual story, the sequence of events, and how it was told really needed to be cut down. This Yu-Gi-Oh series definitely suffers the most from the fact they need it to be so long for some reason. You could have told this in less than 100 episodes easy. There was a lot of fluff. Did I like anything besides the theme song? No. Well, not enough that it outweighs the bad to me. In my opinion, this show is not worth it. Watch the first season, I guess, then skip to episode 100. It's probably more watchable that way. But yeah, as a whole, Arc 5 is the worst Yu-Gi-Oh anime. I technically had to rewatch certain parts, you know, when writing the script and when editing it. And let me tell you, all the other shows, I was like, oh yeah, this was cool, I remember this moment. Doing it for this show, I was just like, man, I don't like any of this. I want to stop looking at it. So that's it. A very sour note to end on, yeah, but they can't all be bangers. Will the next series actually be better than this? Well, it won't be hard to do that, so I hope so. And we won't find out yet, because we're not doing Vrains next. Because remember, this show was released during the 20th anniversary of the Yu-Gi-Oh franchise as a whole, and the show was completely lacking in original Yu-Gi-Oh characters. And like I said before, there was a reason for that, because they were getting up to their own shenanigans in a shorter format. That's right, join me next time, friends, as once again, it's time to duel, as we check back in with the cheerleaders, Kaiba, and some new faces, back in Domino City, after the Pharaoh was put to rest. Cause while Yugi moved on after that, some people didn't. You may have seen many dimensions in Arc 5, but come back and we'll be on the dark side of dimensions. See you then.